الحمد لله رب العالمين له الحمد الحسن والثناء الجميل وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له يقول الحق وهو يهدي السبيل وأشهد أن سيدنا ونبينا محمد صلى الله عليه وعلى آله وأصحابه والتابعين لهم بإحسان إلى يوم الدين أما بعد. We did the muqaddimah. Alhamdulillah, we finished the introduction that Al-Imam As-Suyuti rahimahullah mentioned. And in the muqaddimah, how many things did we speak about? We spoke about 6 things, right? 7 things, huh? What were they? We spoke about the ta'rif al-Qur'an, right? Ilm al-tafsīr. We also spoke about what? Ta'rif al-Qur'an al-Azim. What else did we speak about? Yeah? Yeah, hasr anwa' ulum al-Qur'an, right? Restricting the types of ulum al-Qur'an. What else? Yeah? The issue of muqaddimah and whatnot, we spoke about that. What else did we speak about? We spoke about ta'rif al-suwar. What does a surah mean? What else did we speak about in the muqaddimah? Yeah? Fada'il al-Qur'an, the virtues of the Qur'an. We specifically focused on the issue of at-tafadul fil Qur'an. Does the Qur'an within itself have virtues? What else did we speak about? So, qira'at al-Qur'an bil-ajamiyyah, and in there we spoke about qira'at al-Qur'an bil-ma'na and the concept of tafsīr bil-ra'yi, right? That all was the muqaddimah, by the way. We actually went into the book when we started Ma'rifatu Nuzul al-Qur'an, right? Ma'rifatu Nuzul al-Qur'an, when we started to talk about that is when we actually started the book. And what was the first part that we mentioned from Nuzul al-Qur'an? Makkiyun and Madani, right? That's 2, hey? What else? Hadari and Safari, we spoke about that. Hey? And Nahari and Lay. And al-Layli, we spoke about that. How much is that? 2, 4, 6. Hey? Al-Sayfi and Shita'i. How much is that? 8. Al-Firashi. 9. Asbab al-Nuzul, which we're in today, which makes it what? 10. And then we have Awwalu ma nazal and Akhiru ma nazal. 12. Those 12 is all under the heading of Babu Ma'rifati Nuzul al-Qur'an, knowing the Qur'an coming down. Are we all together? Those 12 we're taking inshallah today. After we finish those 12, we're going to move on to the 6th that's connected to Babu Ma'rifatu Sanad, knowing the chain. And under there we're going to take 6 things inshallah ta'ala. 6 things bi'idhnillahi al-Kareem. So when I come to it, I will point it out inshallah ta'ala. We're going to take al-Mutawatir, we're going to take al-Ahad, we're going to take al-Shadh, we're going to take Qira'atul Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. We're also going to take al-Ruwat, and we're going to also take the Hufad. Those are the 6, which is the 2nd chapter under the chapter of Ma'rifatu as-Sanad, knowing the chain. But today inshallah ta'ala, so those 6 we'll take today, and we'll also add a 7th one from the other chapter, which is Al-Ada, the 3rd chapter, which is Al-Ada. In Ada, we're going to take Al-Waqf wal-Ibtida. And that's all we're going to do for today, inshaAllah ta'ala. Who remembers where we stopped at yesterday? Where did we stop yesterday? Hey? Huh? We were in the chapter of Asbab al-Nuzul. Very good. What exactly were we talking about when we were speaking about Asbab al-Nuzul? Hey? The benefits of Asbab al-Nuzul. And we finished talking about that, right? Today I want to mention a very important point, which is a concept known as umumul lafzi wa khusus al-sabab. You write this down. The generality of the wording and the specification of the reason. So we have the generality of the what? We have the generality of a word. And what do we also have? We have the sabab, the reason is specific. So the lafz is the wording. The ayah that came down, the wording is general. And the reason or the sabab in which it came down on, it's what? Specific. So let's now talk about the concept of the wording and the reason. How many forms can it come in? Write this down. It's very, very important, brothers. When it comes to the wording of the Qur'an and the sabab, which is the reason, it can come in 4 forms, 4 ways. We're talking about the wording. أحوال اللفظ مع السبب في العموم والخصوص 4 أنواع. When it comes to the wording and the reason in which it came down, it can only be 4 situations. The first one is أن يكون السبب عاما. The reason is general. واللفظ النازل عليه خاصة. And the wording is specific. So the reason it came down is general. And what? The wording is general. The wording is what? The wording is specific, sorry. This one doesn't exist. This first example is theoretical. لا واقع له. It can't exist. It doesn't exist. Okay? So there's no point talking about that one. The second situation can be that أن يكون كل من السبب واللفظ النازل عليه عامة. Both the wording and the reason it came down on are both general. Both of them are general. The wording is general and the reason in which it came down on is also general. An example for that is قوله تعالى, the statement of Allah, وَيَسْأَلُونَكَ عَنِ الْمَحِيضِ. وَيَسْأَلُونَكَ, they ask you about what? The menses. So the wording is general, because it's talking about the concept of menses in general. And the reason why it was asked was a general reason. So both of them are general. The wording is general, and the sabab was general. It wasn't for a specific person. They wanted to know for themselves as women. Are we all together? The third situation is أن يكون كل من السبب واللفظ النازل عليه خاصة. The wording and the reason, both of them are specific. They're both specific. The wording and the sabab nuzul is specific. And the example for that is what Imam Muslim narrated in his Sahih. Imam Muslim narrated his Sahih min hadith Anas. You have to write this information. This is very important information, brothers. And that is Anas radiallahu ta'ala anhu, he said, كُسِرَتْ رُبَاعِيَّتُهُ. The Prophet's teeth got broken in which battle? Battle of Uhud. Sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. وَشُجَّ فِيهِ رَأْسِهِ, and his head was wounded. فَجَعَلَ يَسْلُتُ الدَّمَ عَنْهُ. The blood was gushing from his head, alayhi salatu wasalam. وَيَقُولُ, and he was saying, كَيْفَ يُفْلِحُ قَوْمٌ. How will they be successful a people شَجَّوْا نَبِيَّهُمْ, who wounded their Prophet? What success are they looking for? The Prophet's statement here, alayhi salatu wasalam, is specific to the people who did this to him. When he says, كَيْفَ يُفْلِحُ قَوْمٌ, قَوْمٌ here is not everybody. Specifically talking about these people who did this to him. How are they going to be successful? Who wounded their own Prophet. Then the Messenger, alayhi salatu wasalam, he made dua against them. Supplicated to Allah tabarak wa ta'ala against these people. Specific to them. Is it general? Specific. Then the ayah came down, لَيْسَ لَكَ, it is not for you, Muhammad. لَيْسَ لَكَ مِنَ الْأَمْرِ شَيْءٌ. This issue has nothing to do with you, Muhammad. Whether these people are going to be punished or whether people, no, it's nothing to do with you. لَيْسَ لَكَ مِنَ الْأَمْرِ شَيْءٌ. This issue is not for you. The ayah is specific to the Prophet, and the situation was specific to the people he was talking about, sallallahu alayhi wasallam. Both of them are what? Both of them are specific. Number 4. أن يكون is the Surah Al-Imran. It's the Battle of Uhud. Remember I said any ayah after. I mentioned it last time. Who remembers what ayah I said? Yeah, who remembers? What ayah was the ayah where the Battle of Uhud starts from Surah Al-Imran? I mentioned it in Urjuzatul Mi'iyah. Yeah? What's the ayah? No, it's not the ayah properly. Yeah? That's the page. That's where the page starts from. This is the ayah before. It's the ayah that you mentioned, but it's not. Now, what's the ayah itself that you read? وَإِذْ غَدَوْتَ مِنْ أَهْلِكَ وَإِذْ غَدَوْتَ مِنْ أَهْلِكَ تُبَوِّئُ الْمُؤْمِنِينَ مَقَاعِدَ لِلْقِتَالِ. This is the ayah that came down from there onwards. It's the Battle of Uhud that's been spoken about here, okay? It's the Battle of Uhud has been spoken about here. So, لَيْسَ لَكَ مِنَ الْأَمْرِ شَيْءٌ. Allah is talking about what? Allah is talking about these people that you're making dua against. This is not for you. The fourth situation. The wording is general. وَهُوَ أَن يَكُونَ اللَّفْظُ عَامًّا. The word is what? The ayah is coming down, the wording is general. Okay? Like in what? The reason is what? Specific. This is when the scholars say العبرة بعموم اللفظ لا بخصوص السبب. What is given consideration is the generality of the wording and not the fact that it came down on a specific person. We will use this verse for everybody, even though it specifically came down on a person. This is the one that the scholars refer to, العبرة بعموم اللفظ لا بخصوص السبب. Even though the ayah came down on a particular person, a specific reason, but the wording that was used in the ayah was what? General. Are we all together? We will use that generality for everybody. And it's the Messenger sallallahu alayhi wasallam who gave this qa'idah. This qa'idah came from Nabiullah Muhammad salawatullahi wa salamu alayhi. Where's the evidence for that? First of all, let me read this. The person who said that the Prophet came with this qa'idah is Al-Allama Muhammad al-Amin al-Shanqitiyu. He said, فَمَا الدَّلِيلُ فِي ذَلِكَ أَنَّ الْعِبْرَةَ بِعُمُومِ اللَّفْظِ لَا بِخُصُوصِ السَّبَبِ فَالْجَوَابُ. He said, where's the evidence for this qa'idah? الْعِبْرَةُ بِعُمُومِ اللَّفْظِ لَا بِخُصُوصِ السَّبَبِ. Where is the evidence for this qa'idah? He said, فَالْجَوَابُ. The response is أَنَّ النَّبِيَّ سُئِلَ عَمْ مَعْنَاهُ. It was the messenger that was asked about this meaning. الْعِبْرَةَ بِعُمُومِ اللَّفْظِ لَا بِخُصُوصِ السَّبَبِ. He was asked about this. And هل أن العبرة بعموم اللفظ أم بخصوص السبب فأجاب بما معناه. And the Prophet gave a meaning that meant أن العبرة بعموم اللفظ لا بخصوص السبب. That we take the generality of the wording and not the specification of the situation it came down on. Where did the Prophet say that? He's referring to the hadith narrated by Bukhari and Muslim. روى الشيخان, Bukhari and Muslim both narrated, من حديث ابن مسعود عبد الله بن مسعود أن رجلا أصاب امرأة قبلة. There was a companion who kissed a woman that wasn't his wife. He went and he kissed her. When he kissed her, فأتى النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم. The man came to the Prophet and said, يا رسول الله, I kissed a woman. I went and I kissed a woman. فأخبره. When he told the Prophet what he did, فأنزل الله. Allah sent down subhanahu wa ta'ala the ayah وَأَقِمِ الصَّلَاةَ طَرَفَيِ النَّهَارِ وَزُلَفًا مِنَ اللَّيْلِ إِنَّ الْحَسَنَاتِ يُذْهِبْنَ السَّيِّئَاتِ. The ayah came down, which is the last part. إِنَّ الْحَسَنَاتِ, the good that you do gets rid of and eradicates the sins and the shortcomings that you come with. It came down on who? A specific man. The wording in it is what? Innal hasanat, al-hasanat, istighraqiyya. All of every hasanat, that's what it means. So the wording is general. But the man said, the word is general, it came down on him specifically, which is the qa'idah, right? Al-ibrata bi'umum al-lafdha bi-khususi. But can we take the generality of the wording, or do we choose the sabab? The man it came down on. So the man said to the Prophet, he said, Ya Rasulullah, O Messenger of Allah. O Messenger of Allah, Ali hada, is this for me specifically? Qala, the Prophet said, Li jami'i ummati kullihim. This is for all of my ummah. This is for everybody. So the Prophet was saying to him, Al-ibrata bi'umumi al-lafzi. Take the generality of the wording, and even though it came down on you, it's not specific to you. Now. Yeah. Muhammad Amin al-Shanqiti in his tafsīr. Are we all together, brothers? Now you realize when the scholars say al-ibrata bi'umumi al-lafzi la bi khususi sabab. That's what they mean by it. Yeah. روى الشيخان Bukhari Muslim both narrated من حديث ابن مسعود. Bukhari and Muslim both narrated it. Another point I want to mention, inshallah ta'ala, before we move on from the concept of sabab al-nuzul, asbab al-nuzul, and that is if there's many asbab al-nuzul claimed for a verse, how do we reconcile between that? Wujuh al-jam'i, wujuh al-tarjihi. We have many scholars saying this is the sabab al-nuzul for this, and another group of scholars saying no, it's not. What do we do in a situation like that? How do we deal with it in a situation like that? What should we do? We do the following steps. 6 steps that we take. We take how many steps? We take 6 steps. Number one. الترجيح بتقديم السبب الصحيح على السبب الضعيف. We choose the authentic one, the authentic reason in terms of authenticity, sanad, over the weak one. If there's an authentic one and there's one that's authenticity is weak, then we of course are going to take which one? The one that's what? Authentic over the one that's weak. Number two, if they're both authentic now, we jump to the second option, which is we give precedence to the reason that's in line with the wording of the ayah than the one that's not. In line, the wording that's in there. Because the man, he did a sayyi'ah, he did a sin, right? So, in al-hasanat yudhibna sayyi'at. Because we're talking about a sin that he did. He said, Rasulullah, I committed a sin. No. Sometimes there's the meaning, the hadith, it's not in line with it. It's more a general meaning than it's in. Than this one. Number 3, we give precedence to the story if it's mentioned by the person who it happened to. If the person says, it's me, then we take that takes precedence over a third person who's talking about an event that he or she, it never happened to. Are we all together like we do for Maymuna bint al-Harith? Maymuna was the one that the Prophet married. And Abdullah ibn Abbas said that the Prophet married Maymuna the Prophet married Maymuna bint al-Harith while the messenger was on what? While he was in the state of ihram. While he was in the state of ihram, he married Maymuna bint al-Harith. Abdullah ibn Abbas said that. Like in Maymuna, what did she say? She said that the messenger married me wa huwa halalun. He was in a state of ihram. He was not in a state of ihram. Who knows the story better? Ibn Abbas or the woman who it happened to. Then Sahib al-Qissa, the one who it happens to, takes precedence over the one who, because it was Maymuna who he was marrying, sallallahu alayhi wasallam. Number 4. We give precedence to the qawl al-shahidi, a person who, it didn't happen to him, but he witnessed it. He saw it happening. He takes precedence over one who was absent from the event. And he's talking about it from absence. He wasn't there. The one who was there takes precedence. Even if it didn't happen to him, but he takes precedence. Number 5, we look at the overall context of the ayah. Which one does it support more? All of this, inshallah ta'ala, if you study tafsīr books, you'll see examples for all of this. We look at the al-bayan al-Qur'ani, the way that the verse is clarifying itself. Whose one does it allude to more? So the one before was the wording, and this was the meaning. Last but not least, we look at the history. When was this ayah come down? And when was this event mentioned? And we say, okay, based on history, these are more correlated, and these two are more together than anything else. Those are the 6 general steps that you take, give or take. Okay? So you will have an understanding of sabab al-nuzul to an extent, inshallah ta'ala. There's a couple of points I want to add to as well, inshallah ta'ala, that I want to mention, which is the sabab al-nuzul. It generally can't happen. Like what could happen possibly? How? Hi. Yeah, there's no denying about that. We're just saying if you can't reconcile between it. An ayah can come down on many asbab. Sahih, it can. This we're talking about when you can't bring, there's a khilaf between 2 sabab al-nuzul. Now we want to go into the concept of is the sabab al-nuzul min qabil al-marfu'i or min qabil al-mawqufi? Is the sabab al-nuzul, is it considered like marfu'? Like the way we deal with the marfu'? Like you can't reject the marfu', can you? Can you reject the marfu'? Marfu', we all know what it means, right? Marfu' is whatever is attributed to the messenger. And mawquf means whatever is attributed to the companion. Sahih? Is the sabab al-nuzul from the mawquf or is it like the marfu'? There's a difference of opinion amongst the scholars. There's a difference of opinion. Anything, by the way, and I'm breaking it down to make all the views, try to bring them together, inshallah ta'ala, and that is, if the sabab nuzul is sarih, direct, remember we took that yesterday, there's an indirect way and there's a direct way, صح? If the sabab nuzul comes in a direct way, then فهو من المرفوع, then this is from the marfu'. That's واضح, that's clear. Are we all together? Because this person is talking about an ayah coming down at the time of the messenger. You see, so it's marfu' la shak. Okay? Like in the biggest difference is really, what about if it's not sarih? It's muhtamil, غير صريح. What do we do in a situation like that? Can we say it's من قبيل المرفوع or do you say من قبيل الموقوف? والذي عليه جمهور أهل الحديث. The overwhelming majority of scholars of hadith are of the opinion وعلى رأسهم الإمام البخاري ومسلم. The head being Al-Imam al-Bukhari and Al-Imam Muslim and Al-Imam Hakim and jama'at min Ahl al-Hadith. A number of scholars of Ahl al-Hadith are of the opinion أنهم من قبيل المرفوع. That this falls under marfu'. Al-Imam al-Bukhari rahimahullah, he held the opinion that it is min qabil al-marfu'i. But then some scholars, they came back and they said, كيف يكون من قبيل المرفوع? How could it be from marfu'? When it's actually the statement of a companion. in clarifying a verse. Are we all together? It's a Sahabi clarifying a meaning in a verse. How could this be min qabil al-marfu'? How can you consider this to be marfu'? The response to this is the companion is clarifying what's in this meaning from what he benefited from the Messenger alayhi salatu wasalam. Are we all together? The Sahaba's commentary on the Qur'an and their meaning of the Qur'an, generally it should be taken as min qabil al-marfu'. The commentary of the Sahabas. Yay. Why? When I explain this to you, you'll understand it very well. The Messenger sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, did he clarify the whole entire Qur'an? Did he do tafsir of the whole entire Qur'an? We'll say yes. Nabiullah Muhammad, he clarified the whole entire Qur'an. That's what Allah told him. أَنزَلْنَا إِلَيْكَ الذِّكْرَ لِتُبَيِّنَ لِلنَّاسِ. We send the Qur'an on you to clarify it for the people. So if you say he didn't clarify the whole entire Qur'an, then that means he didn't do what Allah told him to do. But the question is, did he clarify the Qur'an by sitting down and doing tafsir verse by verse? Is that how he did it? No. If that's what you're negating, then that makes sense. Are we all together? But did he clarify the Qur'an? Yes, he did. And he clarified the Qur'an in different ways. Salawatullahi wa sallam alayhi. Pay attention to this, because this brings me back to the point I was talking about regarding the companion. Number one, the Sahabi sometimes yubayyinu al-Qur'ana, the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he will sometimes clarify the Qur'an salawatullahi wa sallam alayhi mubasharatan. Like he'll do tafsir of the ayah. Okay, sometimes he do that. Like for example, when he said, الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَلَمْ يَلْبِسُوا إِيمَانَهُمْ بِظُلْمٍ أُولَٰئِكَ لَهُمُ الْأَمْنُ وَهُمْ مُهْتَدُونَ. Allah said in this ayah, in Surah Al-An'am, ayah 82. Surah Al-An'am, ayah 82, Allah said, وَأَنزَلْنَا Muhammad, we send down on you الذِّكْرَ, the Qur'an. No, sorry, Allah said to him, وَالَّذِينَ آمَنوا, those of you who believe, الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَلَمْ يَلْبِسُوا إِيمَانَهُمْ, and they did not clothe their iman with oppression. أُولَٰئِكَ لَهُمُ الْأَمْنُ. Those are the ones who have what? Safety. وَهُمْ مُهْتَدُونَ, and they are guided. So, let's get this right. Those of you who believe, who've basically not come with oppression, are going to find two things: guidance and safety. So the Sahabas got scared, because oppression is a general term. It's a general term. And so they came to the Prophet, they said, Ya Rasulullah, ayyuna lam yadlim nafsahu. Who from amongst us is not ever oppressed? We've either oppressed others, or we have oppressed our own selves by committing sins and going against Allah's command. And so the Prophet ﷺ, he done a tafsir straight away. Straight away explained to them that the oppression here, even that though it looks general, but it's not every oppression. It's one of the 4 types of oppression. How many types of oppression are there? If you break it down, it's 4. If you neat it out, it's 3. Allah, oppressing Allah Azza wa Jalla. Second one is oppressing yourself. And the third one is what? Oppressing the creation of Allah. Oppression of Allah is shirk. And your oppression towards Allah doesn't harm him, by the way. It's got no harm to him, subhanahu wa ta'ala. But that's shirk. The oppression of yourself, you harm yourself. And that's when you commit sins. Are you with me, brothers? By committing sins, you're oppressing your nafs, because your nafs doesn't want this. Or your body doesn't want this. It's not created in that way to endure this sin. You're oppressing it. You're forcing it with something really that the body doesn't really want. Are you with me? Even though the nafs does call you to it. Also, all of those ma'ani are in it. All of those.